Wood has always been a material of beauty, strength, and warmth, a gift from nature that humans have shaped and celebrated for thousands of years, and among the countless objects born from its versatile character. The wooden ceiling light holder stands out as a perfect example of a union between artistry, utility, and timeless design. To understand the wood craft ceiling light holder is to look beyond its surface, to trace the deep roots of woodworking across cultures and centuries, because this humble yet elegant piece of craftsmanship tells a story that reaches from ancient times to our modern homes. In early civilizations, wood was one of the first materials shaped by human hands, carved not only into tools but into ceremonial and decorative objects, often infused with spiritual meaning. And in places like Egypt, China, and Mesopotamia, craftsmen learned to carve intricate patterns into beams, ceilings, and lanterns, setting the stage for what we now recognize as functional decorative lighting. Before the invention of electricity, ceiling lights were often lanterns or holders for oil lamps and candles, and wooden structures formed the frames that gave those light sources both stability and beauty. The holder was not just a support. It was a crafted object that reflected the culture, values, and artistic spirit of its maker. Over time, with the rise of architecture that celebrated interiors, from medieval halls to Renaissance mansions to Asian temples, wood became the dominant medium for ceilings, beams, and chandeliers, and artisans perfected the balance between strength and ornamentation. The wooden ceiling light holder as we know it today carries that legacy forward. It is more than a piece of hardware. It is a continuation of history, a reminder that light and wood together create warmth and atmosphere like no other combination can. In design, the wooden ceiling light holder occupies a unique space. It serves a mechanical function by securing a bulb, a shade, or a fixture safely to the ceiling, but it also works as a canvas for creativity. Wood allows infinite variation, from rustic log carve holders that recall the cabins of the forest, to sleek minimalist mounts that blend into modern apartments, to hand-carved ornate designs that echo the ceilings of palaces and temples. Each choice of wood, whether oak, walnut, pine, teak, or bamboo, brings its own texture, grain, and tone, shaping the mood of a room. Light filtered through or around wood carries a soft quality, a glow that plastic or metal rarely achieves, because wood absorbs and reflects light with an organic warmth, creating a living atmosphere. And when we consider craftsmanship, we find that making a wooden ceiling light holder is both an art and a science. The craftsman must understand not only how to shape wood, but how to accommodate the demands of electricity, heat, and safety. This requires skill in joinery, carving, finishing, and sometimes even in combining wood with other materials such as metal brackets, ceramic sockets, or woven rattan shades. But at its core, the beauty of the wooden holder lies in the hand of the maker, in the marks of chisels, the polish of sandpaper, the layers of varnish or oil that bring out the hidden patterns in the grain. Every holder tells a story of hours spent in the workshop, of patience and precision, of the transformation of raw timber into a functional sculpture that hangs above us, often unnoticed, yet shaping the character of the space. The use of wood in ceiling light holders also reflects broader trends in culture and design. During the Industrial Revolution, when iron and steel became dominant, many households moved away from wooden fixtures. But in the arts and crafts movement of the late 19th century, a revival of handcrafted wooden interiors celebrated authenticity and natural materials, leading to an explosion of carved wooden lamp holders and chandeliers. In the 20th century, Scandinavian design elevated the wooden light holder into a symbol of simplicity and modern elegance, favoring pale woods and clean lines, while in Asia, particularly Japan, the tradition of wooden lanterns and shoji-inspired light covers influenced contemporary minimalism, where wood and light together create serenity. Today, in an era concerned with sustainability, the wooden ceiling light holder is more relevant than ever, as consumers seek eco-friendly materials and handmade quality rather than disposable, mass-produced items. Beyond history and design, there's also symbolism. Wood represents nature, grounding, and tradition, while light represents knowledge, clarity, and inspiration, Together in the ceiling holder, they unite the earthy and the ethereal, the tangible and the intangible. When we gather in a room lit by a wooden ceiling fixture, we are, in a sense, surrounded by this symbolic harmony, as though nature itself has embraced the technology of light. Design ideas for wood craft ceiling light holders are nearly endless. In rustic designs, thick beams and reclaimed barnwood may be fashioned into holders for Edison bulbs, giving off a nostalgic industrial, yet homely vibe. In modern interiors, thin strips of birch or ash may be layered into geometric forms that suspend from the ceiling, combining contemporary aesthetics with organic charm. For traditional or classical spaces, ornate carvings inspired by floral motifs, Baroque swirls, or cultural patterns such as Celtic knots or Islamic arabesques transform the holder into a miniature artwork that complements the ceiling as a canvas. Even minimalist Japanese-inspired interiors often use wood craft holders shaped into simple cylinders, cubes, or spheres, demonstrating that beauty does not require complexity. And for experimental designers, combining wood with glass, resin, or metal inserts allows for hybrid creations where the grain of the timber contrasts with transparency or shine. One fascinating element of the wooden ceiling light holder is the finish. The choice between leaving the wood raw, with a natural matte texture that emphasizes its authenticity, or treating it with oils, stains, and varnishes that enrich its depth of color and protect it from time. Each finish tells its own story. A pale wax pine holder might evoke freshness and openness, while a deep mahogany-stained carving suggests luxury and tradition. The versatility extends also to placement. Wooden holders may be singular and subtle, quietly anchoring a single light bulb, or arranged in clusters, forming chandeliers or pattern arrays that transform the ceiling into an artwork of repetition and rhythm. The craft of making these holders is as important to document as the finished result. A craftsman begins by selecting the wood, ensuring it is seasoned, stable, and free from cracks, because a ceiling fixture must be safe and durable. From there, designs are sketched, cuts are made with saws or chisels, holes are carefully drilled to house the wiring, and the shape is refined through carving, turning on a lathe, or sanding by hand. The piece then undergoes finishing, sometimes polished to a glossy sheen, sometimes deliberately distressed for a rustic look, and finally combined with electrical fittings that allow it to function as a safe, modern light source. Each step embodies traditions passed from one generation to the next, yet also adapts to contemporary needs. In many parts of the world,